بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين وأصحابه المنتجبين ومن تبعهم بإحسان وإيمان إلى يوم الدين. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, our praise and gratitude due to Him. May His peace and blessings be upon all of His apostles and messengers, and the seal of the messengers, Muhammad, His beautiful family, His righteous companions, and above you, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the third and the last part on our discussion and our study of the story of the marriage of the second caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab, to the daughter of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. In the previous parts, we looked through some of the names of the narrators of this story who fabricated it and made it look real and authentic. And unfortunately, some historians, authors, for some reasons, they put this story in their books, they narrate the story, they publish the story without investigating it. And then this story reaches us now after 1400 years, and we think this is real. And you find it in the literatures, you find it in the media, in the newspapers, in the mosques, you find it in the school curriculum in many Muslim countries. They teach their kids that the second caliph married the daughter of the fourth caliph, Ali ibn Abi Talib, which is not true. It's not true. This story is baseless. We found the ta'n, the faults in the character of the narrators. This is number one. Number two, we found that the great transmitters of hadith, imams of hadith, and the huffaz in the Sunni tradition, they don't mention this story, such as the 6 books. The 6 top books: Imam al-Bukhari, Imam Muslim, At-Tirmidhi, An-Nisa'i, Ibn Majah, Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Even Musnad ibn Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he does not mention this story. So this raises a big question that the story is baseless. Otherwise they would put it, because those imams, they said anything belongs to the Prophet that we see, we hear, we read, it is reported to us, we put it in our book. After, of course, investigating its authenticity. So how can they skip this story if this story was real? Third, we come to another aspect of this story, and we find that there is a lot of discrepancies that makes the story becoming truly baseless. Things that very offensive, very shameful, behavior that neither Imam Ali, the commander of the faithfuls, will do, nor his daughter would do or accept, nor the second caliph will do, representing the Prophet and seeing on the seat of the Caliphate, representing Rasulullah, the Messenger of God, such as embracing her before marrying her, such as touching her legs and covering her legs. فَكَشَفَ عَنْ سَاقِهَا, as Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi says in his book, Tarikh Baghdad. And then he's saying she's okay, and go and tell your father, okay, قد رضيت, I am okay with you, I can marry you. He's doing him a favor. He's doing Imam Ali a favor, marrying his daughter. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. The story was not well fabricated. They left room for suspicion. So the story is baseless. But why then, somebody would ask, and here let me say something else. To cover up and give more authenticity to the story, they resort to another wicked way of attributing the story to our Imams, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, alayhim as-salam. They say, yes, Hassan said this about the story, Hussein said this is his statement, and this is the tradition of the enemies of Ahlul Bayt. Whenever they wanted to degrade Ahlul Bayt, and whenever they wanted to pass a hadith, a false hadith, and they wanted to convince the people that this hadith is authentic, they will attribute this hadith to one of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. To one of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. For instance, the hadith which we spoke about some time ago, أصحابي كالنجوم بأيهم اقتديتم اهتديتم, my companions like stars, whoever you follow you're going to be guided. They attribute this hadith to Imam al-Sadiq. Imam al-Sadiq says, I heard my father from his father from the Prophet, that the Prophet said such and such. While the hadith is baseless. How could Imam al-Sadiq, أصدق الصادقين, the Imam of honesty, integrity, truth, piety, how can he utter such things? Or if they want to say that the temporary marriage is invalid, they bring the hadith of Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas says, I heard Imam Ali saying that the Prophet forbade the temporary marriage, al-mut'ah. While Imam Ali never said that. Never said that. Okay? So they come to this story and they said, they bring the name of Imam Zain al-Abidin in the middle. Ali ibn al-Hussein, that he's one of the narrators of the marriage of the daughter of Imam Ali to Umar ibn al-Khattab, and we know that this is wrong. Ibn Sa'd, you know, Ibn Sa'd, this guy, when we trace the story, we find it first and foremost in his book At-Tabaqat al-Kubra, when he reads, when he writes about the biography of Lady Kulthum. He's the one who does not accept Imam al-Sadiq. And then when he was asked that, what do you think about Imam al-Sadiq? He said, لا يحتج بحديثه. We don't accept his hadith as a proof. He doesn't accept the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq. He came after Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam in the 3rd century. And then he does not accept the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq. So imagine their hatred to Ahlul Bayt. He can depend on the stories, the information of many liars and fabricators, but when it comes to Imam al-Sadiq, the grandson of the Prophet and the Imam of all the Muslimin, the Imam of Abu Hanifa, the teacher of Abu Hanifa, the teacher of Imam Malik ibn Anas, the teacher of the Shafi'i, the teacher of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they all either directly, such as the first two, Abu Hanifa and Malik, they studied under the Imam, or indirectly, like Shafi'i and Ibn Hanbal. When he comes to him, he says, لا يحتج بحديثه. We don't accept his hadith. ويستضعف. He's weak in his hadith. This is his opinion. This is the opinion of Ibn Sa'd on Al-Imam al-Sadiq. Now, when you come to this hadith and you look at this drama inside the hadith, that Amir al-Mu'mineen, he sent his daughter she was wearing makeup. فأمر بها فصنعت. She was prepared. وزينت. She wore makeup. زين. Okay. And then after that, how she comes and she meets the second caliph and what he does with her. And then Imam Ali, he was very strong in his position in the beginning. He said no to Umar. I'm not going to give you my daughter. She's still young. And then the second reason he says, I want her to marry her cousins. We decided from the beginning. This was the hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that our boys for our girls and our girls for our boys. And then immediately Imam Ali changes his mind and he says, okay, I will give you my daughter. Can you imagine that? Can you believe that? A person like Imam Ali, full of knowledge, full of foresightedness, full of wisdom, full of prudence and aql, he changes his mind. His mind sways, left and right. One time he says no, another hour he says yes. So these are other things that really makes us believe that the story is completely fabricated. And again, when they come to Imam Hassan, they say, Imam Hassan said, no, I don't want my sister to marry Umar. But they said, Imam Hussein said, yes, Umar is a great man. He's a great companion of the Prophet. وَصَحِبَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَصَحِبَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. He was the companion of the Prophet. وَتُوَفِّيَ عَنْهُ وَهُوَ رَاضٍ. When the Prophet died, he was okay with Umar. He was happy with Umar. He was happy with Umar. He was happy with Umar. 3 days. The Prophet died on Monday, 3 days before his death, Thursday. On Thursday, read Sahih al-Bukhari in 7 or 8 positions, 7 or 8 different locations in Sahih al-Bukhari. The Prophet was angry with Umar when he died. The Prophet was angry with him. And he said to him and others who were sitting, leave me alone. I don't want you to sit here. Leave me alone. قوموا عني. The catastrophe of Thursday, Raziyatul Khamis. When the Prophet was asking for pen and paper, let me write the will. And Umar said, no. Hasbuna kitabullah. We have the book of God, suffices us. We don't need what the Prophet tells us. Did the Prophet die while he was happy with Umar? And they put it in the mouth of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein said this. Imagine the wickedness of some of the writers and historians who survived on a bribery, who survived on money, unlawful money, haram money that comes from the Sultan, to write the books of history, to mislead the nations and the Ummah. And then Imam Hussein says about him, about Umar, ثُمَّ وَلَّى الْخِلَافَةَ فَعَدَلْ. He became caliph and he was so just. So Imam Ali said, yeah, what you are telling me, Imam Hussein, is true. صدقت يا بني. I agree, of course. All these things are true. ولكن كرهت أن أقطع أمرا دونكما. But I did not want to make a decision without consulting with you. And then another story. See the conflicts here, discrepancies here between the stories. See, each one has its own way. And then Imam Ali alayhi salam said to the two brothers, Hassan and Hussein, زوجا عمكما. Please give your sister to your uncle Umar ibn al-Khattab. Let him marry your sister. And then they were upset. They said, she's a lady, she can choose her husband, we don't interfere. Imam Ali became upset and he left. قام مغضبا. So Imam Hassan followed him and he held his dress. فأمسك بثوبه وقال لا صبر على هجرانك يا أبتاه. No, please, don't be upset. Don't be mad at me and my brother Hussein. So Imam Ali said, if you don't want me to be mad with you, then give your daughter to Umar ibn al-Khattab. It's a movie. Now, whether it's a movie for Bollywood or Hollywood, I don't know. Someone can make a movie out of this fabrication, out of this fiction. But my friends, the truth of the matter is that Lady Kulthum, she married Muhammad ibn Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, and she had several children with him. She never married the second caliph. Now, why they created this story? They created this story because the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, كل نسب وسبب منقطع يوم القيامة إلا سببي ونسبي. All the blood relations, all family ties are cut off and severed on the day of judgment except the one that belongs to me. And who was married to the daughter of the Prophet? And who was, who was the first cousin of the Prophet? So he was related to the Prophet by the nasab and by the sabab. Nasab means blood relationship. Sabab means marriage. So someone can be your relative either through blood, he's your cousin, he's your brother, he's your uncle, or by marriage. Or by marriage. He becomes your son-in-law. He marries to your daughter. Or he's married to your sister. In both these ways, Imam Ali was the relative of the Prophet, his family. So they wanted to bestow the same position, the same virtue, the same gift on the second caliph. So they came to fabricate such story, which has no basis. When we investigated that, away from bias, focusing only on the scholarly work, we find out that the story has no roots. To me, my friends, even if this story is right, which is not right, definitely not right, 100% not right, so what? The answer is so what? Even if Umar is married to the daughter of Imam Ali, does that mean there is a cooperation between them? There is a unity, there is harmony? Doesn't. The Prophet married a lady who was a Jewish. Safiya, the daughter of the commander of the Jews in the Battle of Khaybar. The Prophet married a lady who was a previously Christian, Coptic, Mary from Egypt. The Prophet married the daughter of Abu Sufyan, the fierce enemy of Islam, Habiba. So what? What does that mean? Means there is a union between the Prophet and Abu Sufyan? Does not mean anything. Marriage doesn't have any connotation. No attachment. Marriage at that time, you can marry from any tribe, any person, any family. You can take their daughter while you don't have a good relationship with them. At that time, even at this time, someone can marry your daughter, but he doesn't talk to you. He's married to your daughter. He takes her away. He goes to another country. They don't see you. They don't talk to you. They have no relationship with you. So what? Doesn't have any value. But the value is when we study these things with open-mindedness, open spirit, with a spirit of research, academic, scholarly, scientific research, not emotional research. These are fact-finding missions, my friends. We have to understand what was the authentic history of the Prophet, his sunnah, because there is a lot of confusion about the sunnah of the Prophet. Whether he did this or he didn't, whether he said this or we have to understand, we have to study the pure, authentic, untainted history of Islam so we can find the facts. May Allah bless you all. May Allah bless all those fact finders who are providing for us the work of 30, 40 years of their research. We will continue on our inquiries and our investigations into the history of Islam and the Prophet, peace be upon him. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.